Sugar, Haywards Heath, Wivelsfield, Burgess Hill, Essex, Preston Park, and Brighton.
Okay. Oh, good afternoon, and welcome to Pop-Up Research Station. Today we have a presentation by Nakia Porter. And Nakia is one of the artists with Creative Corp in the Capital Region in Sacramento, and she is also a cross-sector partner with Sojourner African Heritage Museum. A little bit about the Capital Region Creative Corp project called Technical Urbanism, Art and Placemaking. This program will be a media outreach and engagement campaign. Sojourner African Heritage Museum will focus on social justice and community engagement. And the objectives of the Creative Regional Creative Corp programs are to create an economic and workforce development program, demonstrating how artists from multiple disciplines can be instrumental in developing and implementing critical campaigns to address our most pressing community issues. And each artist that was invited to become one of the Creative Corp artists, they are already working in the realm of art and social justice and also placemaking. We'll be working with our community partner, the High School Youth of Burbank, the Urban Agricultural Garden, and implementing workforce development in May of 2024. I can't imagine, we're already in 2024. All right, welcome, Nakia, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me, Ms. Alpha. So here on our screen, we have Harry's Kwanzaa, and we asked information, but I put this here because in the Blog Talk Radio, which we will link, I highly suggest people go to Ms. Alpha's Blog Talk Radio station to hear that session where we go into a little bit more detail. But basically from a very young age, I've had a very joyful, loving, nurturing spirit, very talkative, very optimistic about life. That's how my parents raised me. I was born in Washington, D.C. I grew up in the DMV area. For those that are from the West Coast, that's D.C., Maryland, and Virginia, where perseverance was basically my go-to mode for how I live my life. That was something that my father subconsciously implanted with imagery around, to not let life's challenges get you down. And so, like I talked about in the Blog Talk series, I am a survivor of police brutality. And I really want people to hone in on the fact that trauma is trauma. No matter how small or large it is, it will require a set of tools, support, and resources. Those resources can be material. Those resources can be physical, yourself, mentally and spiritually, and those that support you during that time. The tools that I gained coming through the trauma helped me to lay out the format for the Melanin Day School Academy. So, Miss Alpha, that gives you a little bit like a more condensed version of like just starting. And a lot of people see me and say, you're so young. Well, that's, I'm packaged in a nice, cute package, but I've been doing this work for a long time. I'm a trained computer scientist. I have a master's degree in information assurance. I went to North Carolina A&T, Aggie Pride, that's in Greensboro, North Carolina, where I met my husband, who's in engineering field as well. And so we have a very strong technical background, but with the love of my brother, who's a massage therapist, aligned both the physical aspects of technology with the spiritual healing practices together. So when you see me and you see my work, it really is aligning a holistic perspective of the work that we do in order to take our communities to the next level, right? For all the social aspects of life, to how we can become better people, right? And so that's what we're going to continue to talk more about, and why you have this principle here of unity. Sometimes people see that as people coming together, but it's also you coming together. And that's what I had to do in order to breathe life into the Melanin Day School Academy. I can keep going?
Sure, just keep going. Yes.
Awesome. So here for this year, I'm always very thankful to have other leaders in the community to refresh when I'm doing retrospectives on my life, what things are going well, what things, can be improved. And this is the core like principles. We use Sankofa, right? Go back and get what we've lost, bring it into the present for a better future. These type of sayings and principles to help guide our movement. And so for this year, we have the theme going into 2024 that kicked off in 2023 by Dr. Malana Karinga, who is the founder of Kwanzaa, is Kwanzaa, first fruits, first harvest, freedom, justice, and peace. And I thought it was so fitting and perfect alignment for the Capital Region Creative Core project that we're doing with Sojourner Truth Museum, because we're talking about social justice and community engagement. And not only are we talking about it, Dr. Malana has us focus on the principles and putting them into practice for a new world. And so you can look more on their website for the details of his extensive message that really helps us to be in the right mindset to release any shackles, chains that we hold mentally. Because a lot of times we say that we want freedom and it comes from our mind, right? How we perceive the world around us. And so this is our guiding principles going into this new year. And we've, as an academy, as myself, I'm always thinking about how can we bring things together, whether that's people, resources, our ideas, and collaborate even more. And so again, with this campaign for social justice, we have an awesome team. So I'm gonna share a little bit about our team members here. And again, high level, our social justice and community engagement campaign is brought to you by Mama Azia, who through the performing arts, from dance, sing, traditional West African, she is able to show us how we can heal, thrive, and overcome different challenges in our lives through the performing arts. She brings such joy and light to our community, and really having people commit to ourselves, because sometimes we say, oh, I don't have enough time to dance, or oh, maybe tomorrow, but then our bodies start to not be able to move anymore because we haven't used it, right? Y'all know the saying, you don't lose it, you don't use it, you'll lose it. And so Mama Azia is a consistent reminder that movement is a large part in activism, right? Because speaking through movement without words is so powerful. Being able to collectively do that with all age groups, which is what we do at the Melanin Day School Academy, not only children, not only adults, but all the generations coming together to express, a collective vision and goal, which for us is to see Black families, African ancestral families heal and thrive. All right. You see me, Queen Peace. I always strive to try to find a peace, try to find the balance as much as possible. And my goal here is to take my background from technology to health and wellness. I used to do raw foods because I learned from my brother that with the proper foods in the body, it helps us to balance, regulate, and release any type of stress that is so unnecessary to hold on to. And I want to share with you all something that came while I was taking a bath. If you don't take baths, please maybe take a bath, Epsom salt, some way to allow the body, the largest organ, the skin, to release anything that's being held in it. Is when our hands are so tightly, right, clenched, we're unable to receive blessings. We're unable to see clearly. we're unable to release the things that we're holding so tight to that's causing us the stress in the first place. And I want to say firsthand, being through the experiences that I've been through, you kind of want to hold on tight to it. Like I've wanted to hold on tight to it because it has become a part of my reality. But now saying you don't have to hold on to those things, you can let them go. And that's what Mama Azia has done for me with African dance and just the exposure to that world. It helped me to be more free and express myself better than the words could. And so my whole goal is by using my voice, using my technical background, health and wellness, using the arts, and bringing all of those things together, one, to help inspire others to be the best versions of themselves, and then also to go out and inspire others as well. Because once we are able to shine our lights, more lights can shine in the world. And then our other team member is Nia Davis, and she is focused on agriculture, right? Environmental justice, and taking care of the environment, again, taking care of ourselves, making strong connections with nature, and having the children not be like, oh, it's a worm, no, but to love it. And then that helps the parents to love it so they can start gardens. And we really align back with the tactical urbanism effort of not just industrial farms. No, you can have a farm growing in your backyard, and she'll show you how, and she'll show you how to compost, how to reduce your waste, right? Turn that into beautiful soil, all with a smile and a little bit of dirt too, all on her. And she does an amazing job with all ages, encouraging them to get involved, get their hands dirty, and not to be afraid. And so this team here are just some of our members from the Melanin Day School Academy that were selected as artists and cross-sector partners for the SOJO CRCC grant. And so with that, I'm just chiming in to see if there are any questions. No, I see Miss Alpha has put in the chat the link for the blog talk where you can hear a little bit more of the story that I shared this morning. And so with that, I would like to go on to what we have planned coming this year. Here we go. Because we have a lot of exciting things planned. And so for 2024, we want to share all of those plans with you all. So, January, we're in the month of January now, and to align with our overall goal, which aligns with the larger vision for Kwanzaa, is 365 days of Kwanzaa, freedom, justice, and peace. This also aligns with SOJO's efforts for 365. So community, either way, right now, there are multiple opportunities for you to learn, grow, share, and play. And this is Melanin Day School theme song where we say we learn, we grow, we share, and play. We love ourselves each and every day. And so with this plan in place, it allows us to align not only for ourselves, but with our community partners so that we can provide our community, our creative expression for how we can address the challenges that we see in our community so that we can start to heal and thrive, so we can make it better and not just say we want to see change, but to be a part of it. So let's get right into the schedule. Here, going through January and March, we have our cultural enrichment classes that start up. We'll show a little bit about that, but it's a mix of dance, our technology classes. And again, you'll see the theme of how we're pulling in all of our creative outlets, hobbies, skill sets in order to share that with our community, which again is our overall mission for people to share their gifts, find their gifts, their passions, their missions, find alignment and share that collectively. This is really important because we have our Preserving African Heritage Saturday School. So first and third Saturdays started October 3rd, 2020. And in this effort to help bridge a gap between our community members, especially those within the Black community, where technology, especially during COVID, caused a separation with them having low self-esteem or a sense of community, sense of family, a sense of pride in their culture. And so going into this year, we've partnered with the Sojourner Truth Museum in order to really highlight the African heritage, making connections that will have people be very excited, and knowing that this history and culture is not just Black people's history, African people's history, but it's world history. And we just had a session. We started in January. We had our first and third Saturdays where the children have gone to the museum, seen the City of Altars work that we started this whole project and kicking that off, got to see the practice of honoring our ancestors, how they can do that at home, and why it is so important for us to do that together. We then have our cultural chronicles, our Melanin Scholars Afro-Cuban Odyssey. So we are going on a healing journey during the Juneteenth time to Havana, Cuba, as we are bridging, again, the space in between and connecting those throughout the diaspora to see that the struggles and things that we're going through, multiple families and communities all throughout the diaspora are going through similar things. On Sundays, we have this session where we are learning about the culture, again, bringing awareness to challenges that people may not even know about. One topic we brought up last week with Mama Raz, that's one of our partners, who she's very heavily invested in labor and showing the connection between slavery and our free labor, and why it's important for us to really have a good hold on historical moments like Juneteenth. And we talked about briefly whitewashing, how information and factual details about certain events are being covered up or they're being sugar-coated, and it's no longer the true history. And the importance of using Sankofa to go back with the community, learn these things, and note to you all, doing this by yourself can be a very heavy load to bear. So we say do this with a group. We do this on Sundays, 3:30 to 4 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. The information that we will be collecting and learning in the data, and when we go to Cuba, June 13th through the 20th of this year, we will again be reporting on this data to be shared at the Banana Festival, right, of all the things that we've learned up until then as a part of our show, as a part of our final showcase. So we're inviting those to come out. I'll show you all the link on our website where you can join those sessions, whether you're going to Cuba with us or not. We still want people to engage in this activity as we are learning about how to address the problems and come up with solutions to solve them. The next session that we have is our SOJO CRCC Black History Festival, which is coming up next month, February 10th and the 11th. So that is the festival and the 5K run. I'll show you a brief flyer of some of the things that we're planning to do with that. And actually, I'm gonna do that right now. This is a great time to share that flyer. So here we go. And as I'm changing over, I'm gonna put in the chat our website here where you can see all the details about the SOJO CRC project and the collaborative partner Melanin Day School Academy and our artists Mama Azia and Nia Davis. And so you can go to melanindayschoolacademy.org /SOJO CRCC. And I think I need to put it as a www. I got y'all, I'm putting it in the chat. So here, so that you can follow along. You can follow along, and I'll go to that website as well. And where I'm going to show you, here we go. I stopped sharing for a moment, y'all. Here we go. We're going to show you our flyer. Here you go. We're super excited about this one here. So Nia, we mentioned that she is our agricultural specialist here. And here's our flyer here. So on the, and I'm going backwards, this is the 11th. So on the 11th, Nia will be talking about how to heal the environment, giving us some different things that we can do, from how we can heal ourselves, learning about the body, identifying harmful ingredients, learning about waste management, all while the amazing 5K walk and run will be happening. Again, the details are there. It'll be at the Pinnell Center, and it's going to be filled with so many other amazing activities. So make sure you go ahead and save that on your calendar and come on out, visit us, visit the other artists as they talk and share their social justice statements, their campaigns, and how you can get involved. All right, that's going to be a big part as we come into January and going into these upcoming months, is how can you get involved? And I tell you some ways in the blog talk series of how you can get involved, staying in touch with the Sojourner Truth Museum, the Melanin Day School, other partners as well, to see what they're doing and check in and say, hey, I like to volunteer. I like what you're doing. How can I learn more? Those are some simple ways really quick that you could get involved. All right. Another awesome activity that we will be doing is talking about Blacks in agriculture. And oh my, it's going to be amazing. Okay, so I'm going to just set this up a little bit and talk about Aunt Roz. Here we go. I am stop sharing here. Here we go. So we're going to talk about Aunt Roz, and she's one of our elders as well as one of our partners, helping us to make sure that we're staying consistent with our goals and our visions to be able to assist the community. So here's a wonderful opportunity and example I want to give to you all, and that is, you may have an elder in your community that has a great project idea and they need support to be able to take some time and listen. Because a lot of times we know we're all busy. Everybody can be busy, but we make time for things that are important. And it's very important that we make time for our elders. And so Mama Roz, AKA Queen Amina, has had this amazing idea to share Blacks in agriculture as a story walk. And we've come together collectively as a group to say we can help bring this to life. And so the theme, and this will be during SOJO's Black History Festival at the African Marketplace, right? On February 10th. So I gave you the 11th, now I'm coming to the 10th. And this is where we're going to talk about how we left our living food in the South for the living wages in the North with advances of refrigeration technology. So Queen Amina's Living Salads 2021 presentation, she did this to UC Davis School of Nutrition and now merged with the Melanin Day School Academy and Sojourner Truth Museum. We are working to bring all of this together so more of the public can see it, digest it, consume it with your eyes, and just really take this information as your own and increase your knowledge and your potential to be a part of the change. The exhibit details that we will be sharing, our objectives, is for people to participate and engage with the current community art project. So it'll be a collaborative of other people showcasing their things during the Black History Festival as well. We want to bring awareness to unknown historical facts about Blacks in agriculture. So we're going to do that about designing, our boards. And I'll show you one, because we're talking about refrigeration. I'll show you one example as we continue to put these together. Our plan is to create a museum quality exhibit so that the contributions can be donated for African Americans in agriculture to the Sojourner Truth Museum. So not only will it be a one-time thing, but hopefully it'll be something that can be seen over and over and over again. And of course, we will be capturing video on this to be able to share with you all. Our goals, right, is to portray our Black genius and excellence. We want to show the links and value of our benefits of our hard work, labor. We say the Black body because that was what was for sale then. And the land, agriculture and land, and those connections. We want to create this demonstration project to show how to garden in small spaces. So there will be some seed and small pot activities to start. And that's how it'll link into the next day where Nia will show you that next flow of the plant life cycle and composting and where to put in how to properly take care of your waste. And so this is just an example of what we're trying to do during the Black History Festival, and it's so important. We do need volunteers, so if you're interested, please do. You can reach out to mdsa.sac@gmail.com so you can support, whether you're an artist that would like to draw some of the images or create some of the digital form, we're putting those together, or you would like to donate signs or some of the frame infrastructure. I'm going to go through that just a little bit so you can see a little bit more, right? Our impact when we do this is to empower more historical facts. We want to empower resiliency skills, growing our own food, and have the call to action. Mama Ra's, Queen Amina's goal is to have 100 gardens. Again, this is linking to our tactical urbanism efforts, right? It's like guerrilla gardening. Everybody can have a little garden, have one in your windowsill, have one growing out of a boot, out of a suitcase. I've done that and it's amazing. So we want to try to eliminate there's wonderful people in the community, especially in Sacramento, that are willing to have community gardens, be able to grow food collectively so that we can directly address the food shortages or not having that access because we may be in food deserts. Those are areas that only have fast foods, not whole foods, a lot of small fast food stores or quick shops, but not like a Whole Foods or Sprouts or things that have fruits, vegetables, nuts, seeds, grains. And so this is our way to be able to tackle that need directly. Here are just a few examples of what those signs would look like for anyone that's never been through a story walk. They're basically posters that will be set up with the information about the historical figures that we'll be talking about. And people can walk along and read this history, take pictures of it, get more details, and now have this whole experience as you're walking along the path. So these are just a couple of things that we have to do. Finalizing our pictures, ID our volunteers. So that's what we're calling for volunteers to support with this effort. Again, this will be done a little under 2 weeks now. We already have some of the other images, but any help would be greatly, greatly, greatly appreciated. Okay, so I'm just gonna showcase, I've talked about our partners, and I want to just showcase an example here. So again, flyer for the Black History Festival. If you all have not seen it, it's amazing. Okay, yeah, it is amazing. Has amazing details there. And that information you can find on the Sojourner Truth Museum website as well. So one example I just want to give you of Frederick McKinley Jones. So I read the quote in the beginning that we left our living food in the South for the living wages in the North. And with the advances of refrigeration technology. And so that profile is for Frederick McKinley Jones, focused on transportation and refrigeration systems, how one man's invention changed food access worldwide. And so we have a picture of him, details about his invention, and how people can basically just whet their appetite and know a little bit more. So that kind of gives us like a real kick, because it's coming up soon. Black History Month starts next year. We know that we want people to really start to explore this 365 days a year. And this is one way that we will be contributing to that effort. All right. So with that, I'm going to come back to our calendar here. Whoops. Yeah, I'm gonna come back to our calendar. There we go. All right, so we're in our calendar here. So we've finished up our Black History Festival and 5K run. We then will have Women's History Month, where I will be there talking about ways for healing and overcoming traumas. It's going to be an amazing workshop and just discussion of where we are now, where we see ourselves, and what are the steps to get there. How can we be each and every day to overcome that need to feel buried deep in the darkness that we sometimes find ourselves in, and get the tools to be able to help ourselves get out. All right. And so I'll be doing a workshop there that's March 9th coming up. And that's also hosted by the Sojourner Truth Museum. One talk I have here to share with you all is a plug for a play production called Path to Freedom. For those that know, basically international movement, there's a play production in Norfolk, Virginia, and it will be amazing travel from before time in ancient times in Africa all the way to present day United States. And it shows the history and the richness of African peoples, their journey through like Mansa Musa, his travels and voyages, the people singing, dancing, from doctors, scientists, right? All different types of professions through the slave trade, what happened, people being broken down, all of the people that benefited, which again aligns with our Cuba explorations, our chronicles there, learning about Juneteenth, how that was such a monumental moment for so many people, and how it catalyzed others to continue to persevere, not give up, and say to you, to all of those listening, what is your path to freedom? So that production will be happening February 16th through the 18th in Virginia. And I'll make sure that will be also listed on our website and available as some of our members. Me personally, I will be the character Nene, who is a storyteller, a jelly. And again, this is me leveraging my abilities to be able to support the community and telling the stories about how we were in our greatness and how we were able to come through the mud, go through the challenges, continue to persevere, and still be able to create some of the most amazing things in all different avenues of professional work in different industries. And to remember that, never forget that, and that we have contributed to the world's development and civilization, and that the history, Black history, African-American history is world history. And the more that we are able to know that, make that important, is how we can all begin to come closer together. All right. And so that's Path to Freedom that will be coming up. Again, I'll have that on the website. Another piece, and then the other ones, we're going to get right into those, is African Union 6 Region Innovation Fair. So I talked about I have a technology background and wanting to share that with you all. There is if you go to au6rginnovate.org, there's a fair happening all across, right, from coast to coast, different regions, to inspire youth of African ancestry in the diaspora to pursue careers in STEM. And so why is this important to me? Well, I am of African ancestry, African American, born here in the United States. And I went to school to North Carolina Agricultural and Technical State University. Again, Agricultural and Technical State University. My path to freedom is very clear for me. And so with this, my work in technology, being in this field has opened up so many doors for me. And so I'm a part of this organization and supporting because I too can see the potential in our youth, grades 5th through 12th, participating in a competition where they are able to see the challenges in the continent and come together to propose solutions that then can help bridge that gap, help to empower their brothers and sisters throughout the diaspora. And so with their mission being there, the details are here on the website at AU6RG Innovate. The children will be able to identify challenges, do research collectively, create solutions, report and present. And this is a combination effort too that I'm working to collaborate more for SOJO as well, because this is helping our youth to bring in their skills, their science, their math, right? Technology, engineering. I like to say STEAM as well, arts and math, because all of those things with storytelling, with conveying a message, everybody's skill set is important. And then the fundamental learning, right? Reading, math, arithmetic, all of these things come together in order for us to innovate. And who doesn't want to innovate, right? So this will be happening in NorCal, Sacramento. We're also looking volunteers here to start the hubs. That will be in March. That will be in March as well. And to put on this amazing competition for our youth. So any further information, you again can reach out to me, but this is our technology hub, which I bring to inspire the youth to get more involved in these fields, to create more opportunities for themselves, which will eventually also create jobs and help them to develop into careers that bring them joy, allows them to be creative, and then also allows them to solve problems within their community. All right, so that's our innovation fair. Here we are back on our calendar. We're doing good. So going through April to June. Oh, looks like I have a question in the chat.
Yeah, this is part of, like the research that we're going to talk about today and trying to, bring it back. I know you're doing the whole year in review and what you guys are doing, but I want to make sure that I interject some of the research questions that we want to ask you.
Yes.
And we have not talked, I would really want to talk about how can the community help you to restore environmental justice within your local communities. And because, we have the walkability survey and the intercept survey that we're going to be doing during the Black Heritage Festival, and also we're there to do this during the 5K run. How are you going to, integrate that into the work you're doing in February?
That's perfect. So just tying back in as a review for those, we had our workshop, 2 workshops we talked about, right? We talked about the Blacks in Agriculture on the 10th. So people can support and reach out to be able to help with putting those, put our signs up. And this is part of the story walk. and constructing those together. So you can
Yeah,
reach out to
with the story walk, it's important to have those QR codes, and later on, I guess before we end our conversation, we'll be putting those QR codes, not in the chat but on the screen to share.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so those are, I'll talk to those two. And then this is good because we're talking about the main parts of the year. So those two activities I went through before, I'm going to go to our, just show those again. Let me show those one more time here. So we talked about the Blacks in Agriculture. That's on the 10th, so people can reach out to help with the story walk there. And then the other one with Nia was on the healing the environment, right? And so while they're walking, the walkability, we have the story walk, right? These two different events, they have two different type of opportunities to be able to help out. Nia's in support or in need of support. Here we go, for her activity as well. And when I say Nia, it's good to put a face here. We're going to put a face to what we're talking about here. So here is Nia right here. Right here, this is Nia. Can y'all see it? I'm going to draw a little circle around it. So this is Nia right here. I'm doing a nice big old circle. Okay, Nia Davis, that's the artist. So on the 11th, right, she'll be teaching composting, teaching about ingredients that are harmful for the body, also a little bit about the body, and how to handle waste management. So Ms. Alpha, did that answer your question on how they can definitely get involved?
Well, it did, and I kind of wanted to just I know that we can always come back with the calendar, and it's so a lot of stuff is going on, for the next 6 months. Actually,
yeah,
the
we can
next
keep it
8
going.
months, right? And I kind of wanted to make sure that we focus on the investigation.
Yeah, let's go.
And yeah, and
And
because the community engagement event that's coming up is what I kind of really wanted to focus on in February, with inviting you today. And then you can always come back and then we can keep the conversation going
that sounds perfect.
at another time to talk about some of the other topics that you've been sharing with us. But it's a lot of activity I can see that you're going to be, bringing to the community. And I guess my next question is, how will we rebuild our communities to be stronger and recreate sustainable living places?
Yes. So one thing I like to start with is defining sustainable. I gave this example again in our other one, but it's so important because sometimes things we think are common are not as common. So again, sustainable means understanding how our lifestyle choices impact the world around us. So you can see from what I'm talking about, the Blacks in agriculture, understanding the past, what did they do? And how were they thriving at a certain point? Where are we now? What do we need to change? Again, applying Sankofa, what do we need to change to leave it better for our children, leave it better for their children's children, and keeping 7 generations in mind, not just, okay, well, I'm okay, forget them. No, what can I do to make things better? And I believe that Liz put a great comment in the chat, and I just want to address that really quick. Let me see if I can get to you, Liz.
Liza.
And oh, Liza, I apologize, Liza. She said we were talking about growing our own food. So everyone needs to grow food collectively. Love it. Just grew potatoes, tomatoes, and bok choy. I have lots of herbs growing, and so that means that's less food that she has to go out to a store, putting higher demand on someone else to bring food from somewhere far, right, to feed her and her family, or feed her and others that she could share. And so being able to do things that our choices allow us to grow things better, which is aligned on our principles, our practices, right? Our goals. How are we actually going to go about doing this? Can't just have an idea and leave it as an idea. That's like an unbirthed life. We want to go through the full cycle. Roz is giving that to me. Give it the full life cycle so that it can be out in the world. And so that's what, how can we get stronger? Really think about the actions and the decisions, the choices we're making. How is it going to leave something for the next generations, next 7 generations? And yeah, using your creativity to share that.
So I'm actually putting this in the chat, is that how, in what ways did you view yourself as an artist in our community's challenge in building a strong, sustainable, safe place?
Okay, so I'm gonna switch up a little bit. Being I'm not a native, right, of California. I was born in DC. I mentioned it in the beginning. When I came to California, I am used to having multiple activities to do. I grew up in a community in Alexandria, Virginia, where I had 4-H, where I would sew pillows, learn how to sew pillows, but let alone outside activities. My aunts and uncles, some were seamstress and singers and dancers and artists. I was exposed to that as a very young age. And so when I came to California and I went and volunteered at schools with my work, and I saw that they didn't have the same opportunities, a fire was lit underneath me to share my talents, whether it was dancing, whether it was speaking, whether it was my, being trained in computer science. I wanted to share as much as I could so others had the opportunity, because I knew that by others pouring into me, I was able to do the work that I was doing. So if I could pour even a little drop into someone else, that it would ignite their internal flame for them to be the best that they could possibly be, I was doing it at all costs. And so that's what I did.
Okay, and and I know that it was kind of like a really good fit for you to be part of this creative core. And you say in your in your statement that it's been a transformative journey for you. And that you're at the helm of social justice activism, and you've weaved that as a tapestry of empowerment through the profound channels of faith, community, and resilience. And so, I applaud you for the work that you've been doing in the community. I never thought, well, what's such a young person? Because I think that when are you a millennial?
Yep. I'm kind
Okay.
of, I'm in there.
So, I'm going to go back to our gallery view of the conversation. But I think that millennials are listening, they especially when you're born to our generation, you know what I mean? And the generation we raised you. Some of us most of us have that Pan-African, ideology, instilled in us. And you were listening as babies, you were listening, you were listening to the spoken word, to lyrists, you were, engaged. And so, sometimes it skips a generation, and then we see the fruits of our labor. And we've seen that happen at Sojourner Truth Museum. I've seen it happen even here at the Phantom Gallery, and the work we've been doing in the community. Somebody's listening. I don't think that at any time that we're doing this work, no one's listening. I can go back and check the analytics on our social media, on our pop-up research station, cafe, on different platforms. There's someone listening, and I'm always at awe when I see, well, wow, 200,000 people over time have listened to our chatter and the work that we're presenting in the field. So yeah, people are listening to our conversation, and I've asked each of you with Creative Corps to recruit only 30 people and from that 30, those seeds again will be planted so that there's the information is disseminated out, not only when I say community, I'm not only saying place, location, because you're in DC area, I'm here in Chicagoland, Liza is out in California, the museum is up in Sacramento, and we're still doing that work and we're still planting the seeds and they're been germinated, so
May I share?
sure, thank
Okay,
you.
great. I think that every time you are community building, making sure that everyone who is ever present and everyone who touches what everyone is collectively working on sees themselves as a representative and as public relations for what we believe in, because that is the way it spreads. And having everyone recognize that and have it verbalized is extremely helpful. So I just love what you just shared, Alpha.
Thank you. And so, Nakia, we're going to invite you back to, Pop-Up Research Station. We have about 5 more minutes of interviewing you for this segment on our virtual cafe. I do all of it most of the time, but we do the town hall section, and that's what I'm running the Curator Court under, and then reposting this listening session back over to the Capital Region. And so is there kind of anything else that you want to say during this segment? We're only focusing again on February, to kind of end this one interview, but you're also again welcome to come back in March and really focus on and present your keynote.
Yes, and so I invite everyone to go. I put in the chat melanindayschoolacademy.org. You can click on SOJO CRCC. This is going to be very important for the other events that are coming up. A big effort that we have, as we mentioned, is to get feedback from the community. So when you come to our website in the SOJO CRCC tab, you'll see information about the project that we're doing, the grant work, other collaborators that we are working with, and get to know us a little bit more. This page will be actively changing for updates. We also have our social media account. You can follow us at Melanin Scholars. All of that information, which you can get from our website here, but you see our awesome program manager, founder, Shona, Ms. Daphne. We have Karen and Malik, Sarah Faru, Sina Faru, excuse me, Jose, Unity, and so many more others. So this will give you an opportunity to join in and see what we are personally going to be doing and contributing to this site, and a little bit more about us. But more importantly, not more, but to really wrap it all up, we need your feedback. So at the bottom of this, it's coming up now, is the community survey. And so we want to make sure that any events that you all attend with us or anything dealing with the SOJO Capital Region Creative Corps, that you please scan the code, fill out the information, or use the tiny URL here, the bit.ly/SOJO CRCC survey. If you need any assistance, feel free to ask any of our team members or any others that are online so that we can most optimally collect this feedback and that is being helpful. Because if we are able to showcase the impact that we're making in our community, we will be able to get continued support for efforts like this in the future. So somebody said a test is a test nonetheless. So when the test arises, please do your best, okay? So we want to do the best at being us. Miss Alpha, with 2 minutes left, that's where I leave everybody to help us and support. You can volunteer, come out to the events, provide your feedback so that we don't just think that we are doing good, but that you can confirm with us or give us feedback.
Okay, great. And did you have the other QR codes ready to go for the walkability study that we're going to print out for the festival, where we're encouraging people to fill out that walkability study that we're doing, and why it's important in terms of placemaking that we glean information. Pop-up research station will be there. I'll be there on the ground, helping to get these surveys about what's the walkability of the community, of the neighborhood. On Sunday, the 5K run, fun run, and how people are navigating that on the sidewalk. That's an excellent opportunity to, like you said, use your storyboards to glean information from the walkers, that'll be there. I saw on Eventbrite, it's kind of sold out. We have a lot of people that are attending and a lot of vendors that are going to be there, but making sure that we have those, a lot of people don't, I, for one, that you kind of have a failure when using QR codes to do surveys. People are kind of like, I don't want to do a survey, So we're trying to make that survey friendly, and we'll have our cell phones out there, and we'll have our tablets out there to tabulate, and also hard copies to tabulate and get information from folks. So you really need those volunteers, people on your team to be present, and we need to do an orientation with them so they know how to use that. So
that sounds great. And
yes.
that'll be our plan, that on those walkability, on some of the material that we have available, we will have those QR codes together to support this effort.
Right. And that walkability study is going to be used with the Creative Corps, but it's also going to be part of the Community Challenge program that we're writing as a placemaking project in that zip code, that area of 95822, and that Meadowview area 95823. And I always give the zip codes of things instead of the neighborhood, and it is because of the the kind of the quality of life study, the HPI, blah, 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 in terms of in research. And I shouldn't do blah, 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 but right now it's not the time to go deep into, that part of our research. But it is important to collect data, and how the community are using these resources, and how the community is attending these types of programs, especially when the funding's coming in to support us in the work that we're doing with our Black heritage and our African heritage. So again, thank you, Nakia, for joining us. And we're going to invite other folks to the conversation. So I don't know if I have any more Q&A for you. But again, thank you for joining us on this segment of Pop-Up Research Station Cafe.
All right. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to seeing you in March.
All right. Great.